Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian MV, strong style, cinephile, and we're going black for this edition of Let Us Geek for a scant few minutes because we're talking Black Lightning and Black Panther and some things that are going on with those two productions. Now, we already knew Black Lightning was coming to an end after this season. Fourth is going to be its last, and I kind of speculated, is this going to be the end of the Arrowverse as we know it? Because Supergirl is ending, Black Lightning is ending, Arrow has ended, Legends has got to be on its last legs. I know it's kind of cheap to make for the CW, but ratings have really been on a steady decline since the first season of that show. And it's one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite, of the Arrowverse shows. It was #1, then Stargirl came along and knocked that down. But it's got to be on its last legs. Flash has pretty much sucked the past 2 seasons. I watch it just because I've watched it this long. So I imagine after this season, maybe it's got 1 left at the most. So you have Javicia Leslie replacing Ruby Rose, Batwoman. We don't know if that's going to catch fire or just crash and burn. So what is the Arrowverse going to look like after this season? Really curious to see that. But we know it will not include Black Lightning. It will also not include one cast member who's actually jumping ship early. Now, China Anne McClain announced on Instagram and other publication media outlets in a video message to her 6.6 million followers, wish I could get like a 100th of that, saying that she was leaving the show, that she always knew that even if the show went forward with more seasons, this was going to be her last. And she said people who know why she's leaving, and she'll just like kind of leave it at that. And she said that it wasn't because of any on-set drama or issues with the production people or with the network or whatever. It's just her decision that she wants to make, which is fine. I mean, people are welcome to their own sort of reasonings for doing things, their own business. That's fine. I just hate when people get just super vague, like about, she just kind of, the way she worded it, it was just kind of like, I've got this like stuff that I want to say, but I don't really want to say it. I just want to stir up some like speculation and stuff about it. But I may talk about it later, and it's just, I don't like that route. Just say like, hey, I have my reasons, boom, just leave it at that. Just don't try to make it super vague yet, like still like you're trying to keep people picking at it or hanging on what it could be and speculating about it just to kind of keep you in the conversation. I'm not saying that's what she's doing, but it just, I'm not a fan of that sort of thing. Now we know that one of the things I liked about Black Lightning was the dynamic. It was a family, it was a strong black family dynamic. It was different from the other shows because, as I've said before, all the Arrowverse shows should provide you with something different, a different kind of slant, different kind of gimmick to their shows. For this, it was just the family dynamic as heroes. So not having her around is going to be a little bit different, but then again, she really wasn't out there with Black Lightning and Thunder, and she seemed to be more of a hindrance as far as her character goes because of just her impulsive nature plus the nature of her powers. So it actually could be smoother from a story standpoint, from a hero standpoint, to not have her there. But it's Jefferson Pierce and both his daughters, Thunder and Lightning. So not having her there is going to be kind of odd, I guess. We know that Painkiller apparently is going to get a backdoor pilot for a possible spin-off. I don't know why, because it's just, I mean, the character arc has been kind of cool. The actors decent, but a spin-off dedicated to him, I mean, come on now. Do we really need that? Do we really want that? And who knows? I mean, they could end up going 0 for 2 for spin-off attempts because we don't know anything about Green Arrow and the Canaries, the spin-off with Mia, if that's going to get picked up or not. I haven't heard anything about that. So why waste a precious episode in your last season on that? I mean, just why? But it remains to be seen how things go. We just know she's jumping ship, and we'll just see how they kind of work it into the show. Other Black news, Black Panther 2 is going to start filming tentatively in July, and they have brought on Tenoch Huerta for the villain of it, or at least one of the villains. Doesn't say who he's going to play. People have been kind of speculating on the villain for Black Panther 2 is kind of a who it should be, and kind of speculating on using that movie as a way to kind of bring in Doom to the MCU, to bring in Namor to the MCU. So it remains to be seen kind of who they actually go with from Black Panther's rogue gallery, if he kind of has one. Oh, really? You know. But the big question is, what do they do with the character of the Black Panther himself? Because of course Chadwick Boseman kind of tragically passed away, kind of just came out of left field. It was a bombshell kind of a thing. We've had these kind of things happen before, where actors pass away and they kind of affect the production. Carrie Fisher on Star Wars, and Paul Walker on the Fast movies in the middle of filming one. Tragically, he's taken. They were able to do that with sort of like mocap technology and use of his siblings to help finish out the film, and then they retired the character, and that's how they moved on from that. But I mean, Black Panther is a huge main character, so what can they do with him? I've read different stuff on message boards, stuff like that, where people are saying, well, no one person is bigger than the character and they should just recast. I mean, they recasted Terrence Howard as Rhodey, and they got Don Cheadle, and pretty much the MCU was honestly better for having Don Cheadle versus Terrence Howard. That's not to say this would be the case with Chadwick Boseman, because the dude just owned that role and did well with it. So it's like bring in somebody to replace him, and just the circumstances of replace. This is not somebody who just had like a tiff with the studio, a la Edward Norton and the Hulk, and getting Edward Norton getting booted and bringing in Mark Ruffalo, which again, the MCU was better for that replacement. This is not one of those cases. This is a case where somebody who was beloved playing the part died. So it's like, and died not too long ago. So it's still kind of a fresh wound to revisit. And as far as moving forward, but I mean, Black Panther's a moneymaker, so these sequels, these franchises, they got to keep moving. So some people have suggested that Letitia Wright, her character Shuri, take on the throne, which she has done, I believe, in the comics. But is she really set up in the MCU to do that? Not really. Some people have suggested bringing back Killmonger and having him take on the throne. I mean, dude died in the first movie. Some people, I mean, it's comic book stuff. He can be brought back through many, many ways and means. But just, I think that would negatively affect his arc and his legacy, his character legacy from the first movie. I don't think that would be a good idea. But it's like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna have, say, he like died in between movies, and maybe there's a battle for the crown in the second movie? What can you do? It's just, I'm sure all options are on the table, and they're really thinking hard on how to do it. But they've got a schedule to keep, so it's like, what can they do? What will they do with this role? I'm truly stumped on what they should do and what they will do. I just have no idea which way they're going to go. I think I'd read that rumors of them using the digital Chadwick have been shot down. So what are they going to do? How are they going to replace him? Remains to be seen. What do you think they should do? What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me. Social media. Yeah. Black Panther 2 is going to start filming soon. But what do they do about Black Panther? Black Lightning is being jettisoned off the air. But one of the characters is leaving. One of the main characters has been there from the beginning. One of the family characters is leaving the show before the end of the season. What do you guys out there think? It's interesting stuff going on. Just remains to be seen how these productions handle the casting stuff that's going on. Until next time, let us geek.